Well, we'll go nice, easy one, and that is about your captain and just
Yeah.
why, from your vantage point, he is the ultimate fit.
I, I think we talked earlier about the importance of a captain having a great relationship with his teammates, with the coaching staff, and with the management group, because there's so many different things that come into play when you wear that C on your chest. The players or his teammates were almost unanimous in conversations with them that they thought he was the best person to represent them. Our coaching staff, along the way, you're always hopeful that a guy will sign a longer term contract, which made our decision really easy. And when it comes to his relationship with management too, I mean, you can look no further than Craig and Michael playing together. So there's the start of a relationship that gets built there. But Michael really understands the importance of community and understands what it means to be a Calgary Flame. So when you combine all that stuff together, he's just a great choice for us. And I know one that is going to do a great job leading this team.
You have him back in Kelowna, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. What can you tell us about the 19-year-old-ish Michael Backlund to where he is now?
Yeah, well, he's quite a bit different now from where he was. I mean, we were fortunate actually that year to get him, and in order to get him over to us, they had to play him a game here so he can get himself out of his contract in Sweden. So after the World Junior Championship, that's what they did. They signed him, they played him, and I think they kept him here for almost a week before we saw him. But the nice part for us was we needed an elite player to come in. We had some good players at the time there with Jamie Benn and Tyler Myers, guys like that, Tyson Barrie. He was the guy we felt this is going to make us put us over the top, and he surely did that. It allowed us to beat some really good teams in the Western Hockey League. But you see how he grows along the way. But even at that age, you can see the leadership qualities that he did have from coming into a team as a new guy, knowing nobody, never played in North America before, to somebody that became one real good friends with all of those guys in the team, and someone that we learned to lean on in short order. Yeah.
Can I ask you about Jacob Pelletier, a young guy who, by all accounts, sort of looked like he was going to maybe earn a spot on this roster?
Yeah.
Now, what is your job? Do you leave him alone? Do you make sure you check in on him? What's your role now as you kind of want to keep his confidence and keep him a part of things?
Oh yeah, I mean we have to do what's best for him, and he was in a position this year where I said last night he was going to make our team. Because of what he brings to the table, his skill set, the energy that he brings, his ability to play up and down your lineup. So it's really unfortunate that he had the injury that he had. But our job now is to make sure we support him in his recovery so we can help him get back as soon as possible. So he'll go through all the steps along the way, and then when he's getting closer, we'll work closely with him as well. And of course, you stay in touch with your players along the way. Like, guys are giving it to him today already about getting back. So it's one of those things, unfortunately, that players have to deal with. You didn't like to see him have to deal with it from something in the exhibition season, but it is what it is. Now his challenge is to make sure he's focused on getting better, and if he has the right mindset, he'll be back sooner than later.
Just to circle back on Michael for a second, last year, and a lot of guys have talked about feeling like he's been the guy for a little while around here, but what do you think, he takes away? Did it feel like a dry run in a sense last year, but just maybe going through some of the challenges as he's talked about, and then, maybe finding some other leadership qualities in there too?
Yeah, I think it was a challenge for him, and I think that was for our whole group in general. They were looking for someone, and nobody felt 100% comfortable because they didn't have it on their chest. So I think that's going to allow Michael to feel even more confident in his ability to step up for his teammates, to sometimes take the heat from our group in our office to make sure that things are going the way they should be going. I just feel like he's much more confident now, knowing that he's looked upon in that role, and I guess he sees it on his chest now, and that's the biggest thing for him, is he's got to take this responsibility head on, and make sure he does whatever he has to take to help push our team forward.
Right. I know it's not going to be easy. It's not easy for anyone to talk about Chris Snow, but
Yeah.
we saw the news yesterday. And I'm just curious, we have all talked about how he's inspired people and what he's meant. What's Chris meant to you?
Well, I think he was one of my bigger supporters in helping me get this job. So he means a significant amount to me. It's a tough time, and we're there for their family. I mean, that's what we're about here. your heart goes out for what they're going through right now, but we know he's a guy that's going to continue to fight like he always has. But we're most definitely with Kelsey and the kids for sure. It's not easy, especially when you do have a family of your own. Yeah, it's not an easy time for them for sure, or us.
He's a guy who's made such a difference since his diagnosis. Just obviously, you guys had that personal relationship, but are you as amazed as we are with how he's handled these last 4 years? And
yeah, and we see him a little differently than the other management group would see him. A lot of times he's providing us with information about, analytically what we can do better in certain situations. So you grow to appreciate the passion that he had for the game to try to help us with our job. It's just the one thing that we never saw, and I think Craig alluded to it yesterday. Not once did you ever see him feel sorry for himself for what he was going through. And I think when you talk about people looking at him as an inspiration, I don't know how you can't, because it's just never did he have a bad day considering the stuff that he was going through, and he continued to do his job to the best of his ability every day. So it's just not an easy thing.
Ryan, what were your personal interactions with him? Like, what would you guys talk about, or what was your personal relationship?
Funny story. Originally, I would argue with him to start with on some of the analytics that would come out, and then once you would hear his reasoning for things and the way his brain or the way he worked with the analytics, then we started to see more closely eye to eye, to the point where now I see how important analytics are to a coach's ability to, whether it's putting the right lineup on the ice or adjusting some of your systems based on what the numbers and the tendencies are showing. Chris was really influential in helping me develop in that regards to using analytics more effectively for sure.